One. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world watching this, wherever you are in the world listening to this. We are about to have a conversation that on my platforms and it's abnormal. I normally don't have conversations like this. I guess we can call this a conversation slash debate. The gentleman on the show right now, on this conversation right now, in the video right now, in your earbuds right now, and I had a disagreement on the social media platforms. And we're going to talk about that today because we think that, it would be a valuable conversation for the world to hear and to pitch in on. So before we do any of that, I want to start with intros. So can you go ahead and introduce yourself to any and everybody that is going to end up watching this or listening to this, whether it's next week or whether it's in 7 years? Just let the people know who you are and what you do.
Right. My name's ZevenSoFuego. I was born in New Orleans, grew up in the Midwest. I've been rapping since I was 5, and you can find me on all platforms. And I'm just happy to be here.
Absolutely. I do want to dive in a little bit deeper to that. So you born in the South. How'd you end up in Kansas City?
I got a lot of family in KC here in California, but my parents they wanted to move to the Midwest or Atlanta, and my dad ended up choosing the Midwest, so we ended up being here.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So did you go to high school out here or did you come here later in
Yep,
life? Yeah, high school,
yeah,
elementary.
yep. I went to okay, so I came out here when I was 8, and then
Gotcha.
I kept going back down every summer, and then once I hit high school, it kind of slowed down a bit, and I started staying up here a little bit more because the ones kept getting a little bit crazy.
Word. Okay. And then just for like reference for me, PS, anybody that's listening to this, uh, which is part of the conversation. The only way I know this individual is through social media. So I actually just learned his first name about like 5 minutes ago, which I respectfully kind of already forgot. But if it's okay with you, I'll call you Seven. Is that cool?
Word,
Bet. So
100%.
so so we know of each other through social media, but what I wanted to ask, oh damn, my computer tripping. But what I did want to ask is how how who is like someone that we have that's a mutual, or at least that you believe is a mutual, that you like went to school with or grew up with, whether it's an artist or
I
a
don't know.
creative.
I had to go back and check.
Well, like not
Let
like
me.
not like super specifically, but like is there other artist friends of yours or creatives in the city that you like went to high school with, that you like, that are still out here in the city functioning, trying to like create and build, whether as an artist or maybe it's a producer, photographer? Is there anybody that you went to school with that you like still keep in contact with in some way, that's a dope creative in KC right now?
Not nobody in my grade. It's kind of weird. I was kind of like the only person in my grade that was like rapping, and so like everybody else like came after. That was a huge gap between my grade and the grade above me, a few grades above me, and it's just kind of weird. All the rappers that I know that's like exactly my age, they're not rapping. Or like if somebody's a year older than me or a year younger than me, they're rapping or something like that. But like somebody that's exactly like 28 that
Mm-hmm.
came out like my class, I don't remember anybody. But creatives, wise, if you know like William Hare or anything like that,
Yeah.
or Kendu. I didn't go to school with Kendu, but I hung around Kendu a lot. And trying to think of besides Steve, nobody else that's like, that I was really hanging around with like back then. I
Can do
met a lot
can do
of
good peoples.
yeah, 100%. I met a lot of people over like the last, I want to say last 5 years, 5, 6 years.
I love it. I love it. So before we transition to the conversation, just a final question on the creative aspect, and your artistic endeavors. Like, when did you get really serious about making music? Like, when did you like lock in and say, hey, this is something I'm trying to do professionally. This is something I'm trying to make money doing. Was it ever since you were a young bull, or did this like happen later in life where you're like, you know what, I think I really want to settle down and lock into this music shit?
I think I was serious when I was young, but I didn't really like take it serious. Like, long story short, I say like I grew up in a little Bow Wow era. Like Bow Wow, like for real got me to start making music. I was like 5, and so like I started writing after then. And then I like found out who Lil Wayne was, and it made me really really take it serious. Like I always knew Lil Wayne, but I didn't really start like really listening to his lyrics until maybe probably like my freshman year in high school, and I was like, yeah, I got to do this seriously. And then I guess I had 3 stages. I had the starting stage, I had my do the serious stage, and then I had the stage. I'm like, all right, I need to like try to make some money off this, and I ain't started doing that until probably 2018, 2017. I was like, all right, I need to start making some money off this music,
Okay,
and so
respect.
that's why I was like, yeah, I got to do it seriously.
I love it. I love it. And I think we'll kind of transition back into the conversation around music throughout this conversation because they align, I think, with your opinion and your thought process on our disagreement. So let's actually jump into that. So I'm going to explain the backstory, ladies and gentlemen, to the conversation. So what a few weeks ago I made the decision personally on my social profiles to unfollow people who I do not, whether a multitude of things, people whose content doesn't particularly inspire or connect with me, whether it's anymore or whether it never was, which we can dive into that. um I chose to unfollow people who just aren't shown on my feed. I chose to unfollow people who I just followed because they were a celebrity that I admired, and then I was like, why am I really following the celebrity? So, over the past month or so, I've unfollowed like somewhere around like 1,000 or 1,100 people, um, and during that unfollowing process, uh, during that unfollowing process, I had a few conversations with a few individuals who questioned my decision to unfollow them. And one of those individuals happens to be the gentleman on the camera right now. And he had expressed that, he was a little upset because he didn't understand why I would unfollow him. He's shown support, and I can agree with that as well. So that wasn't blind to me. He's shown support on my social media channel with some of my videos, commenting, engaging in conversations, in the comment section, expressing that he might have enjoyed it in video or connected with something I said in the video. And so he was, essentially, from my understanding of how I read the message, was trying to understand like why, if I'm connecting with you and supporting you on your social media channel, would you unfollow me? And kind of felt like it was some hater energy. So my explanation when I responded to him in the DM was that, kind of like what I just shared, I chose to unfollow people who no longer or do not inspire me. I chose to unfollow people I don't really, connect with or keep up with on a day-to-day basis. And I just chose to unfollow people who, I felt like I wanted to unfollow because I wasn't, interested in consuming their content to be point blank with it. So, with me sharing that, I kind of want to open the floor for, Seven's perspective. And, when he saw that I no longer unfollowed him, and dropped the comment under my post, like what was going through your mind? What's going through your mind right now? Like, what is your thought process around, someone unfollowing you or disconnecting the connection with you online, especially when you've shown support on that side? So just share any and all thoughts. You can be totally transparent, authentic. At the end of the day, ain't no beef here. I don't take anything, negatively. So share however you want to share.
100%. Okay, so first, like, I don't I don't care about an unfollow. It's always about who it's by. And I never did care about that until I started seeing the unfollows transcend into like life situations to where like a person's unfollowed me and that I've actually worked with and cared about, I want to see win. Unfollow me and then I see him in person, I think everything's cool. Everything's not cool for whatever reason. And so, I've had more than one instances like that, and it's been small to extreme. And so, it's just I believe, and if I follow you, like to me personally, if I'm following you and you're creative, like I really believe in you. Like I think you're gonna go places, and I believe in a lot of people. Sometimes I believe in the wrong people. So like I was just it was more of a in your situation in your behalf, it was more of a like a personal thing because it was like I've already been dealing with certain situations this year that I had to cut people off. And I'm just like, dang, like somebody else is just, acting weird. And, I respect your opinion on that. And I respect, what you did. And I don't hate you for it because it's a respectable opinion. And one, I understand it. It'd be different if I didn't understand it because I've definitely been through that same situation. I've unfollowed people for sure. I don't know how they felt. I've had people unfollow me and then follow me back, like the same mutuals that we have, like rappers that we know in the city, and it's like I don't know what's going through your head. So it's really just person to person, I guess. Um, Social media wise, I try not to get too much wrapped up in that. I stay off of it as much as I can, but when I'm on it, I'm posting something. So um, I know it could fuck with people's heads. So you definitely gotta like have your breaks. If you don't have your breaks, you're just gonna be diving in, like thinking different shit, feeling ways about whatever, and that's just that was just the way I reacted on that.
No, I respect it.
It was like there was nothing. I'm a person that's like I'm gonna be real with you. Um, it's nothing ill, and just like how you explained it to me, I have no hard feelings about anything.
No, and I think like, from my perspective, you know, I can understand why someone can become upset, whether it's temporary or permanent, about an unfollow from anybody. Like, fuck it being from me or being from you or whatever. Just like in general, like, you know, sometimes when you get an unfollow, it can feel similar to someone cutting ties with you, like cutting ties with you and cutting like I guess you could say this cutting a relationship off with you. I feel like some people perceive it as that. So if someone's unfollows you on the internet, you kind of feel like they unsubscribe to you in person as well. So it's like if you are interacting with somebody, you connected with somebody you went to high school with, or maybe a past person you were best friends with, or you played ball with, and then all of a sudden you see they unfollow you, kind of feel like, okay, you unfollow me on here, you're not interested in what I got going on, that must mean you unsubscribe to me in life. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way and carry that energy, which I think might be similar to what you're saying, like on the spectrum of situations you face when somebody unfollows you. You see them in person, you thought everything is cool, it's just that they unfollowed you, but instead they on some hot shit. And that's like the
100%.
yeah, that's the extreme end of the spectrum. And then there's like someone on the middle end of the spectrum where they see you and they might throw you a head nod. So nothing crazy going on. They just may not be fucking with you in a certain way.
Right.
And then there's people who just unfollow you and they pull up on you and they're like, "What's up, my boy?" when they see you. Like just like shit is regular. And so I can
100%.
I can fuck with what you're saying from it being a spectrum of what happens and kind of questioning why someone might um disconnect. And I think like the at least the energy I was feeling through Instagram, it felt like you felt attacked. And so when I DM'd you, I really just wanted to be like, listen, bro, I have nothing against you. First off, because I ain't never met you.
Mhm.
First off, I ain't never met you. So I ain't got nothing against you. You've obviously only, commented kind things or been like, yo, this is a dope video. So like you've never disrespected me online. It just had to do with like when I'm consuming content, I want it to be content that I like, quote unquote, am craving or I'm looking for, and or, in a what's it called, rebuttal to something you said. You were like, it doesn't really make sense to me because you and I still have 30 plus other mutuals who are also creatives and artists. But it
Mhm.
goes back to, and I hope you don't take this as like a hateful thing, but it goes back to like, if I listen to one artist's music, I really fuck with it, their message really hits me, it really connects with me, I'm gonna be more inclined to follow them and want to follow their journey because their music really connects with me. I really like it. I like the way this person, comes across as a creative, or like, I mean, let's just put somebody out there because I hate talking in hypotheticals. So like Ashan, like I love Ashan's music. I don't know if you're familiar with Ashan, but I love Ashan's music.
Yeah,
Yeah, it really connects with me. I really love his spirit when I connect with him in person. So like this is an artist I'm gonna forever follow, not because I listen to his music every day, but just because I've connected with some of his past music and it made me, feel a certain way, connect to certain stories.
mm,
When I listen to your music, I'm not, I don't connect with it. I feel like this guy has bars, you know what I'm saying? Like respectable rapper. He has bars, he can spit, but it's not music that I connect with and I'm gonna listen to on a daily basis. So when the content comes up on my feed, I might be like, yeah, he has bars, but I don't get on Instagram to hear people's bars. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm not out here
mm,
following battle rappers. I'm not out here following radio shows to hear freestyles. Like that's not something I'm interested in seeing or connecting with on a daily basis. So for my thought process, I'm like, yeah, dude has been commenting on my shit and he's always respectable and that's cool, but I don't want to
yeah,
feel like I'm obligated to follow somebody just because they show me love. So what's your thoughts on
right.
like do you feel like do you feel sometimes obligated to follow somebody back just because they followed you, or do you ever feel obligated to follow somebody back just because they're really nice to you in person or whatever? Have you ever felt that way?
I'll say when I was younger, it's a mindset,
Yeah.
and there's a certain mindset you gotta break out of. I broke out of it when I was probably like 22, 23, because I was real heavy on like social media in like high school. Like I was doing like I was the one of the meme accounts and shit, like do making the viral tweets and shit. So
Right.
like I was doing that in high school, so I stopped doing that shit, and so I was hella into social media and knew the toxic shit of social media. So I was like, yeah, I gotta get out of this. But as far as like like I guess you say like people like following because you say you don't follow like certain things. I will also say to that is also give it time too, because as like creatives, they have moments where they have spurts of different types of music they put out, at different times of their life. So sometimes they got put out this, and sometimes they got put out that, sometimes I put this. That just me speaking personally because you spoke on the freestyles and stuff and everything like that. I'm also am pushing out more other music too. This is just why I need to get out right now. It's just sometimes you gotta get certain things out, and you gotta put it out the way you need to. Um, I think if people are following creatives, this is for all creators. They should try to be open, at least give them time for growth, because everybody has life. Everybody going through life. Sometimes you don't see them post for a year, and then next thing you know, the next year they start posting again. So it's just give them time. If it's truly like something you're 100% disconnected with, then I get that 100% because I'm with that. I've had to follow some people that's not even creative. So I'm just like, yo, what are you posting? Like, I gotta follow you, like, cause it's just weird stuff.
Shit, you
But
posted crazy right
yeah,
now.
that's yeah, no, for real. There's a few people I had to unfollow like that. I was like, yo, like, what are you talking about? Like, but I usually don't unfollow people for real. Not unless it's just some overboard shit.
So how do you
Unless
manage that
or
though?
just
How do you manage
my
that though?
I
Because like sorry, there's a little
what
delay.
unfollows.
Yeah, there's a little delay in our audio, so sorry if I'm like interrupting you. But
You good?
the yeah, like one thing I did before this conversation, I was like, all right, let me go see how many people he follows. And I see that you follow a lot of people. So like how do you manage that in terms of the type of content you're consuming? Do you ever feel like you're just scrolling for 30 minutes and you're not seeing shit that you like? You're just like, wow, don't care, don't care, don't care, don't care. Like, cause that's how I felt. That's how I was feeling. That's why I decided to
Oh,
unfollow
okay.
a lot of people because I'm like scrolling and I'm like waiting to finally see the content I want to see and I got on social media to see. So if I'm like scrolling for an hour and I've seen 3 posts that I'm like, wow, this is inspiring, or wow, that was dope. And the other like 40 posts are just like, okay, yeah, this person posted a selfie, or this person posted a, and no disrespect to like rappers, but this person posted a video of them in the studio with a new drop. It's like I don't really care about their song because it's not hitting. No, and it's not that I don't care about them
Man,
as
no,
an
that's funny as
artist.
hell.
It's just like I don't care
Yeah,
about the
no, I
song
get
because it
it.
wasn't hit. So then it's just like it wasn't hitting
Mm-hmm.
for me, and that's subjective. That's the tough thing about the career that you're in right now is like people's
Mm-hmm.
opinions on music is subjective. Like one person might think your shit is fire. They might be like, yo, shit
Mm-hmm.
is fire. And the next person might dead ass think you're the trashiest artist on earth. And that's all because
Facts.
that's all because everyone's opinion on music is subjective. And that's why it's like so tough as a creative. And I respected everything you like said back in the DMs because I'm like, I get what you mean. I just don't think about it that way. I get what you're saying. I just don't think
Yeah,
about it that way. Like, like all
I
support.
think
Go ahead.
I think also too, like another important thing to factor in too is like also too, just regardless of who you talk to with as a creative, just losing the creative support is huge. I feel like because you guys are both say two creatives, say the Ice Spice and the Drake situation, like Drake and follow Ice Spice. Everybody was talking about that, like not saying that she ain't a big artist, but she probably could be an even bigger artist with Drake if they work together as like two companies. You know what I'm saying? So just having, let alone a creative, not saying you feel weird about anything, but just like feel weird about another creative or like no longer supports that creative because of something like it, depending on that person and depending on how that person feels about the other person, it might, he might feel something about it, but like, dang, like what happened type shit. So, that's kind of where I felt too, because I looked at your, I've always been watching your profile. So I'm like, yo, I want to be on that one day. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I see where you're going with it and I see what you're doing with it. And I believe in it. So, like I said, it was more of a personal issue than anything because how I told you in the messages, like I see and I really believe in people. Like I don't know what people think of me, but like I really believe in people. Like I believe that you could do what you say you could do. I just want to see you do it, and now I'm just here to support, and that's it. And so when I see lose that support or see like that person no longer like is rocking with me the same way that I'm rocking with them, and that's with all relationships now with social media. If you're not rocking with me the same way I'm rocking with you, I'm gonna feel some type of way. At some point, maybe not this year, next year, but at some point, I'm gonna be like, all right, like what's going on?
Nah, I respect that. And I think it's kind of like it just goes down to like being able to have the maturity as an adult to respect each other's opinions. Cause I think totally different than what you think, but I understand what you're saying. So it's like I can
Mhm.
see how that might make someone feel, and it might be like, wow, now there's some weird energy in the air. Why would this person unfollow me? Like, is they hating? Is they talking shit behind my back? Like, there's a whole bunch of thoughts that can come up. It can be like, wow, so this person sees me
Because
supporting them and now they don't want to support me.
right,
They're selfish. Like, so many people can have so many thoughts versus me. I'm
because
just like,
on a small note, my fault to cut you
no,
off,
you're good, brother.
but on a small note, just a side note, like I think I said this in another interview, but like one of my first situations in Kansas City was somebody pulling me off a show. Like I had a show and it was well within some good rappers, and they found out who I was, and it was like, all right, now you gotta take them off type shit, and they ended up pulling me off, which is no hard feelings about it. Like at the time I was like, what the fuck. And then I found out like what the situation was, and I'm like, all right, this is weird. And there was another few situations that's kind of happened like that. And so I guess me being kind of like the outsider, you feel like maybe like you gotta, I don't know, but people work in weird ways, and so I'm not really too invested in that, but I do kind of react to it sometimes.
No, and that makes sense. I think like reacting and feeling our thoughts and emotions is cool. I think where people go wrong is not having the conversation. Like imagine we didn't have
Mm-hmm.
a conversation about this. Imagine you commented
Right.
that. Imagine you commented what you commented and then I never responded. And then you're just left in like the dark, like just thinking what you think. And then like I'm over here, let's say I'm over here like, and I see you at an event and I'm like, oh, I remember the last time I communicated with him, he was like mad about me unfollowing him. So now we're not connecting in person. There's weird energy at an event. And I think that's where most like supposed to be adults go wrong is they don't actually invest in having a conversation. That's why I decided to DM you directly, because I was like, I like that you hustling on your music, and I like that you like my content. And so I wanted to establish like both of those things. There's no issue there. It's just comes down to personal opinion. What do you think about? Because for me, I think uh I think support should be what's the word I'm looking for? Unconditional.
Support,
Similar
yeah,
to
100%.
similar to love. And that was my my rebuttal in the DMs to you is like, when you support somebody, I think you should support them because you like their content or you like what they're doing, and you really, like you said, you really are invested in the creative and you like what they're doing.
Hmm.
And it shouldn't be dependent upon mutual support. But you also said about like as a creatives, it's already so hard to win. Having as much support as possible can contribute to the motivation and the confidence a creative has to continue going and like
Hmm.
hustling. So I appreciate that thought process. I don't subscribe to it per se, but like I
Yeah.
I appreciate that thought process. But like for me, it's just like I follow a few podcasters who are way bigger than me. I DM them
Mm.
like once a month to like try to have a conversation. These niggas is too big. They don't ever see my DMs. They never respond. They don't ever follow me back. But I still support them because I really am invested and care about what they're doing. It's not dependent upon mutual recognition. And that's kind of how I feel. It's like, I was telling
I think
you.
it's a little bit different though. Like, okay, so I'll say this. This would probably be quote unquote my 11th year rapping.
Mhm.
Um, far as supporting, those people are bigger than you. Now, how long would you support? Say you support few people smaller than you. You support them all the way until they get to the point they're where you're at. They were fucking with you, the same way they were. When you get them to where they're at, they need to be push them. They go and they take their support with them, and not saying it's not cool to still support those people, but you have enough people do that to you, or at least a scar on you at a point in time. And I ask you, like, how long would you support somebody that's trying to get to where you're at, but that's disrespecting you at the same time?
So how long would I
It's easy to support people that are bigger than you.
Right, right, right. So yeah, no, it's definitely easier to support people that are bigger than you. I think supporting someone that's smaller at the same level of you is similarly easy if you also fuck with their stuff to the same level you fuck with the person that's bigger than you. So it's like
So,
to double down on that. It's like there's maybe two or three artists in Kansas City that I like really love their music. It doesn't mean I don't think the others are talented. I'm just saying that I really love their music. That's Zeph France, that's Kai Colors, and that's Ashan. Like these are three artists that I really enjoy their music. Like I'm literally listening and I'm like,
they're
wow.
all hard.
Yeah, I'm like, wow,
All
this
of
is
them are hard.
powerful. And but the same way I feel about their music when I listen to it is the same way I feel about Drake's music when I listen to Drake, and I love Drake. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Mm,
Drake is bigger than all three of them, but it's like when I
mm,
listen to music, I still feel the same emotions. I'm like, wow, this is powerful. Wow, this is dope. Wow, this is fire. So it's
mm.
like when I support Drake and when I support Ashan, it's the same thing to me. Like in terms of because I care about both of their music like genuinely. And so I just feel like
Right.
people, of course, everyone should subscribe to whatever way of thinking they think fits them best. But if I got to choose how people lived, which obviously shouldn't be that way, but if I got to choose, then I would be like, you should support those who you actually support versus like, it's kind of like the idea of 1,000 true fans who really fuck with ZevenSoFuego's music, like 1,000 people. Imagine you had 1,000 followers and they fucking loved the shit out of you. Like they're always streaming your music. They're buying any merch you put out there. They're at every single show. Versus having 10,000 followers who are like blind and ghost followers. They don't really look at your shit. They might double tap blindly, but they don't really
Facts.
they don't really listen to your music. They don't really
That's what
maybe
you don't want.
buy your merch. Exactly. So that's kind of how I look at it. I feel like you should.
Mhm,
I feel like one again. I'm not trying to tell people how to live, so I want to clarify that. But like, I feel like and like you should prefer someone to follow you that actually listens to your music, streams your shit, shares it with all their homies because they love your shit versus someone who just follows you and double taps because they saw you posted a video but didn't really check it out. And if I'm being 100% honest, like when some of your content will come through, I might listen to it for like 2 seconds and double tap and keep scrolling just to quote unquote show love because you show love to me. It's like double tap. But it's like, am I really invested in you and your career if I'm not actually listening to that song, if I'm not actually going to stream it, if I'm not actually
mhm,
like, pulling up to your shows, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think
mhm.
that that's the same. Like, I just don't think that
I'm
that
with you.
makes
I'm
sense.
with you on that, but it's like I do prefer, people that that's more interactive,
Yeah.
with that. But also too at the same time, I feel like we do that now with our favorite artists. We will pass and double tap it, sometimes just because we like them. And so, with that being said, if you're actually a good artist and you have, say, quote unquote, 10K following, you'll be able to turn something out of that. Those people that are like just looking at your stuff, if you post something eventually that they like, they're going to start fucking with you. That's how you get people who don't like rappers end up being their favorite rappers because they finally have something that they like. Like, so it just takes time. You just got to understand the artist. And that's my biggest thing apart. Like, the whole rapping thing, like people gotta learn to understand these artists because you understand the artist and you understand how they're gonna put out the art, the type of art they're gonna put out, and what they're gonna put out next. You just gotta study them. But as far as like people follow me and like unfollow me and stuff like that, I reiterate like it doesn't matter. Like I don't really have hard feelings about it, but just depending on the person. And I guess you could say, as in like, yeah, I shouldn't care about like, certain people unfollow me, but like when you think that certain people believe in you, then you realize they don't, then it's like,
It's gonna hurt.
damn, okay. Like, cause everybody's human.
Nah, that's real. Nah, it's gonna hurt.
Like, it's like, yeah.
Nah, I respect that. I think I think for me, what I'm hearing from your side is like, you know, I wish these individuals would be a little bit more patient with me, during the process. It's like they may not like your music now or enjoy it now, but if you're patient, you know what I'm saying? If that follower is patient with me, you know what I'm saying? Eventually I might drop something that you really love and now you're like really invested in me. So
I
I
talk
can
about it all the time. I'm, I make this, my fault to cut you off, but I make this status all the time. I say, love me as a person, don't love me as an artist, because one day I may change the music. And I always say that like, I'm always going to have the same me in the music, but it may change one day and I may do something else for a minute. So,
nah.
like, just you're going to follow me, learn to love me, and eventually you will really understand my music and love my music.
And I think that's the tough thing with like social media is actually being able to build a genuine relationship online because if like I'm saying, like you've supported my posts, but we've never connected in person. We don't like text, we don't talk, we didn't go to school together, like we didn't like kick it, we or nothing like that. So for me, when I'm like following somebody on social media, it's hard for me to like love that it's easy for me to love mankind because I love all humans and I do genuinely mean that. But it's not easy for me to like really be like have this like strong, you know, relationship with the individual's character if I've never met them or connected with them before. So it's like on that same topic, there's some other artists that I follow who I also don't particularly care for their music or the content they post. But I went to school with them. We hung out. We kicked it. We still kick it. And I really love their spirit. And because of that, it's like, okay, I know this person. Like, I really fuck with them as a human being. I'm going to keep following them because I'm invested in their life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Versus if we keep it in $1.50, it's like I don't really know you like that. So it's like I'm not that invested in your life. I'm invested in you living a good life and being successful. And I wish for the success. But until I'm able to build a relationship with the individual, I'm not going to be as invested as they might want me to be. So it's
Mhm.
like, I feel like that's kind of like also my rebuttal back to when you were like, oh, you follow 30 plus other people that are mutual creatives. It's like, well, some of them are the people I know in real life. Like I really, it's like I know
I'm fucking dead.
I know them niggas in real life and connected with them on like a face to face and had a genuine conversation with them. So my relationship with them might be a little bit more, invested and
Yeah.
more serious. So social media is such an
And like
interesting.
you would think, I wouldn't be pissed off about this shit, like at the time, but like, just go back to being human. Like I can't do nothing but laugh about it because like I'm not like a person that holds grudges like that. It's just it's a situation. I was like, what the hell? Like, so
Bro, human, man. We
people
all
aren't my
human.
fault.
Nigga, we all human. Hey, look, cause one thing for real is like I read that and I was like, why this nigga mad? And then and then but then I thought about it and I was like, I've also been in those same scenarios. So it's like as much as I can respond in the Instagram, like social media is and they're serious, and I do mean that. It's not that I haven't been affected in the same ways. Like somebody unfollowed me and
The
I'd be
only reason, the only reason I think like I don't, it's a tool, but I think it's so serious. Like when you see artists that literally just blow up off Instagram or people that make it off, just Twitter, just off of just push and support. Just I've seen it. Like I've been on Twitter for a long time. I've seen like the masses just push one person or whatever they're doing, and then certain companies find them and they end up to go take a business, or rappers like Murray. That was on the radio
yeah,
and shit.
right,
Like
yeah.
he literally posted his song on Say Cheese, and he took off out of that. Literally, I watched it. I watched that Cardi B blew up. Like I watched all that shit. Like so, it's just like social media is very serious. It's just don't you can't be brainwashed by it at the same time. You got to use it wisely. So it's a certain. I feel like I don't know. I do have some feelings towards social media, but you can't let it consume you too much. You know what I'm saying? You just got to keep using it as a tool.
But yeah, that's the phrase right there though. It's very serious as a tool. It's not very serious
Mm-hmm.
like as a
Yeah,
whole. So it's like as a tool, and so I do see what you mean by that. It's like as a tool, that shit is powerful as fuck. It's one of the most powerful things out there in the world right now. It's like the best tool to get attention. It's the best tool.
TikTok.
Yeah, yeah,
I
bro.
don't
I
can't
feel you.
imagine how many people get off TikTok.
Yeah, hey, TikTok is crazy. TikTok is crazy. I done seen people grow from 0 to 15,000 in a week. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But and again, it goes back to like what I was saying earlier. It's like, bro, like 500 of those 15,000 people might be serious fans, but as long as you continue
Mm-hmm.
to like build that relationship with those fans day in and day out, like
Mm-hmm.
eventually that will turn into something like you said. So I agree, man.
Right.
It's valuable. It's valuable in some aspects. I think. I
And I
think.
guess I guess that's only personal for me because uh if somebody else relates, so, I hope they relate. But I think that's personal to me because a lot of my favorite rappers, like I did not like in the beginning. Like I was like this, I didn't like them, and I just end up like really understanding. I'm like, okay, these rappers are like really good. Like I really fuck with them a lot, and it just took me a minute.
So on that same topic, who are some artists that you didn't like originally, but now you're a fan of or you support, and like who would you say if someone's listening right now and they haven't heard your music, what music, like what artist or what type of style of music would you say your music is like closest to or is most similar to? Every artist is going to be like, I'm unique, I'm creative, and that is true. Everyone's unique in their own way, but there's also similarities. So like, what artists do think you have similarities to in terms of your rapping style, and then also who are some artists that you used to not like but you enjoy now?
Um, let's see. I didn't like. Gucci for a long time. But I did fuck with him back in the mixtape days. I didn't like Two Chains, and I really, really fuck with Two Chains, and I understand him because he's just a lyrical like trap artist, and like that he just came up different, so people don't understand he's really lyrical. But I would say I didn't like Lil Wayne for a minute, but after that, like after my, I think I heard Three Pete, I really started fucking with him. Tupac, yo, I used to talk so much shit on Tupac. I used to talk so much shit on Tupac. I hit like 22, 23. That's all I was listening to. Like I listen to Tupac all day now. Like so, it took me time like to understand certain artists. Um, Me as far as when people ask like what type of artist I am, uh, shoot, I would just say kind of like Drake's evil twin, but on the compared to Drake, I've always like talked about it with Drake. Um, he's has so many styles of music, and he's able to showcase that he's good in this area and good in this area and good in this area and good in this area. And before Drake, I studied Wayne, and I studied Wayne through his albums and how he put his albums together, and Eminem and how he put his albums together and the quality that he used with the production and the engineers. He has some of the best engineers. So is Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne's quality, you take any of his music and play it in the studio or anything like that, it's great quality music. Like it's clear, you can hear it. And so like I studied that, and Drake got the same thing. So um, I studied how he does his albums and his interludes, and how he took his time spacing out his genres, different styles. Same with Wayne. I liked Wayne's rock albums. I liked Wayne's everything. And so like Wayne's top three for me. And Kendrick Lamar, big one, huge. Kendrick Lamar and Kanye. That's probably my top four. Uh, Off my head, I would say Lil Wayne, Kanye, Kendrick, and Drake. Because for real, they probably changed my life. Lil Wayne changed my life musically alone. Like, so it's just I really studied the way they did it, and I forgot to mention Kanye a lot, but yeah, Kanye he definitely did a lot for me. Like as far as like trying to step outside and do different things, and just being yourself. So
People are
those
scared
are
to admit
the
it right now, but Kanye had a strong influence on a shit ton of people, from their musical um, creation to their musical styles that they enjoy listening to their actual style, to
mhm,
performances. Like Kanye had strong influences on so many fucking people, and people are gonna deny that for the next few years, and that's okay. But Kanye had a strong influence on a lot of folks, and I
facts.
know that for a fact. Like, people gonna try to
He's the
delete,
only reason I started using autotune.
bro.
Like it wasn't no like Young Thug, no Rose, that I started using autotune because of Kanye. Like
After this
that nigga is
conversation,
hard.
I want everyone to go listen to Kanye West, Barry Bonds. I want everyone to listen to Kanye West.
Yo,
I want everyone to listen to Kanye West, RoboCop. And I want y'all to just go, reflect on that style of music and that time period and think about the influences. But anyways, that's neither here nor there, man. I wanna ask you, what's up next for you as an artist? What are you really focused on right now? From a musical perspective, how are you thinking about business? How are you thinking about building an audience, and like what can people expect from you going forward? And then we'll leave out on that note.
really, I'm just working on getting my music out. I have I took a break for a minute. It was like a 3 year break before I dropped Full Moon. Like I didn't drop anything for 3 years, and so I'm just working on putting out a whole lot of music. Not like I did not work in them 3 years. Like so. With that being said, I have let's say 2 albums right now, but I'm not just gonna release it. So I feel like I released just too much music just to release. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just working out how I want to push the next thing. I'm probably gonna release until the end of the year, and then next year I'm gonna start releasing some more videos, some newer videos, and probably work on figure out which album I'm gonna put out. Uh, that's really all I can say right now. I've been that's all I can say.
I respect it. I respect it. Now, the best freestyle you've ever posted online, I want you to send me the link to that, and I'm gonna plug it in the bottom of the bio of the video, so that people who is looking for a new artist to listen to can start off with your opinion of your most fire freestyle. So send that link to me once we hop off of here.
Right.
And then yeah, outside of that, man, like I said, I think this conversation was cool to have, like, you know, in a content type format that we can share with the people and share with the public. This conversation could have just went on in the DM for an hour, but I'm glad we brought it
I'm dead.
to
Nah.
I'm glad we brought it to you know, the social platforms for people to check out and just share their thoughts and
Uh,
opinions. Yeah, go ahead.
100% because like I'm never like I'm one of those people. I'm not afraid to say like what people are scared to say. Like even if it's like embarrassing and humiliating or whatever. Like people feel people feel some type of shit about certain shit on social media. Like they can't fight about that shit. Like not everybody, but there's a lot of people that do, and they don't talk about it that much, or they react to it in a different way. So it's just you know when the situation happened, when we was talking about, it, I was like, and you wanted to talk about it over the phone. I was like, you know what? No, let's just talk about it. Through the podcast because I think it's going to be worth. It's going to be worth it. People are going to see some sides. Maybe that they understand or agree with or don't agree with. I just think it'd be good content.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I appreciate your time and the conversation today. I think it was, you know, valuable for us to talk about it and then valuable for others to listen. Ladies and gentlemen, anybody who listens to this, whether it's today or in 2 years, please comment, please DM either one of us. And if you have any thoughts on the conversation that you'd like to elaborate on or share with either one of us, please do that. And you can do that, you know, either through commenting on the video or commenting on the posts that you see, or you can DM me at COLLISSTUTZER on Instagram, and you can DM my guy Seven at. Go ahead and share your social media platform at names.
All my platforms is one name, ZevenSoFuego. That's SevenEvenSoFuego on all platforms.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So go check out his music, but also engage in conversation, share any comments, any thoughts. We appreciate y'all tapping in today. Make sure you share this with a friend. What else? Do I have anything else to say? Let me think. 3, 2, 1. No. Do you have anything else you want to share?
Shoot, I don't have anything.
Sounds good, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that will be us signing out, man. CIZY signing out. My guy Seven. Peace, love. We out of here.